I also mentioned last hour about Howie Schwab. And perhaps you know the name from Stump the Schwab. After 26 years as the lead researcher at the mothership, they let him go yesterday. Now, they let a lot of other people go. So it's not just Howie, but Howie was influential to what I did at ESPN. He helped us on the big show when Keith and I did it. He took great pride in what he did. And he did it for the betterment of the show. He was faster than the internet back then. I was saddened by it because there are certain guys. It's like when Chris Berman was, they were going to let him go. And I said, you guys are missing the point here. You should name a building after him. They brought him back and gave him a new contract, and rightfully so. Certain people have earned that status, emeritus status. And I'm disappointed, and I hope Howie finds something there. And he's been taking care of his sick wife for 10 years. She's partially paralyzed. And here he is taking care of her and, going to the mothership, and they let him go. They let go a lot of people yesterday, and more people to be let go. Rich Eisen joining us, the lead host, the main face of the NFL Network. I know you work with Howie.
Yeah.
It was difficult to hear yesterday.
It was. Howie was one of the first people to come up to me when I was a 26-year-old coming from Redding, California, the market of Redding, California, market 130, whatever it was. And to say I was bright-eyed or wide-eyed is to say the least. And he would come up to me and make sure that I had everything I needed. And he's awesome. He is one of the best people I've met in the business. And as you point out, I'm sure he wasn't the only one who lost his job, but I was upset. My wife Susie, who I met there, she knows Howie too. We were both stunned that he would be part of anything that would be cost cutting.
We saw him in North Carolina at the Sportscaster of the Year Award. So I saw him Monday night. He's with management, and they knew that he was going to get fired.
Oh my Lord!
He didn't know, and it saddened me greatly yesterday because I think the world of him. He was there with Dickie V. I would hope that some of these guys would understand about maybe less with their. This was about Howie getting paid too much. That he'd earned getting paid too much or more than he had gotten paid before, and then all of a sudden you become expendable. But
I remember doing the highlight of the final Hartford Whalers home game. Do you remember that? Do you remember when we did that? I don't know if you were doing Sports Center.
I was at the game.
You were at the game. So
yeah.
You definitely were doing the Sports Center. And they showed people in the crowd crying. And one of them was Howie and his wife, huddled up, like crying, like bawling. And I remember just saying on there, like, wait a minute, was that Howie Schwab? And it was him. I mean, he was he's just one of the biggest sports fans, passionate people you'll meet, and sweetheart.
He took
sweetheart.
Great pride in when we were doing Sports Center, and this would be late in the show. Ken Griffey Jr.'s just homered, and you're saying that, or you're showing the highlight. Howie would always have a bunch of change in his pocket or his keys, like you would hear him, and he would run over from the research department.
Yes.
And he would give you a stat on Ken Griffey Jr. before he got to home plate.
And even if it wasn't the show he was technically on too, he didn't have to. It wasn't just the show that he was assigned to. He always made and it just he just lost his job. We're sort of talking about him like he's gone. Period. But I mean, hopefully he finds something or somebody in our industry. Reaches out to him. That would be great.
He's Rich Eisen from the NFL Network, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. You had Aaron Rodgers on your podcast, didn't you?
Yes, but just to talk about Game of Thrones.
That was it?
That's it.
Wait, there was no Favre? Hey, Favre, welcome back into the clubhouse here? Nothing.
It was just straight up. He was a television critic. And I think he enjoyed the experience, actually, without being peppered about, hey, what about your receiving core? Is Jermichael Finley going to do whatever? Blah, blah, blah. He just wanted to talk Game of Thrones.
That's great.
And it was fun because he loves the show. I love the show. I don't know if you don't strike me as Game of Thrones guy.
No. I watch the nudity, and that's it.
You read it. You're the guy who reads stuff for the articles. I understand.
No, I just wait for Mr. Skin to
there you go.
To highlight the nudity in there.
The Game of Thrones Mr. Skin highlights. It's usually about 60 to 90 seconds. But
McLovin loves Game of Thrones, but
it's incredible.
Yeah, and
it really is some of the best television I've seen. Period. It is that, and I'm not one of those guys who reads The Hobbit or is into that sort of
Tolkien
Dungeons and Dragons world at all. It's really that good.
Yeah, I know. McLovin
said, twist your arm, huh?
No.
Okay.
I'm watching HGTV. I was watching Master Chef last night. I mean, I've got other things to watch. Here's another thing that bothers me.
Uh-oh.
These English hosts that come over here to criticize our cooking, how about you clean up your nonsense in England, your food, before you come over here? Gordo Ramsay.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
You take a stand.
Yeah, take that.
You speak for American cuisine, Dan. Stand up and hold your ground.
That's will.
It.
All right, here's the poll question for Rich Eisen from the NFL Network. Are you rooting for Tiger for a championship or LeBron for a championship?
I'm going to go Tiger. I'll go Tiger. It's been 5 years, right? It's been 5 years.
Is it because of the time lapse here?
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see that.
Like
LeBron,
now, now we're going to forgive him. Now it's okay for him to win. We're okay with you winning now.
You've given me a choice. I chose Tiger. I mean, we saw LeBron last year, and I'm sort of rooting for the Spurs here. I think Duncan and Parker and Popovich, who makes Bill Belichick like the chattiest Cathys of all time. I think they don't get nearly enough credit, and so I'm rooting for them. And by the way, Belichick's press conference this past week, Dan, the Museum of Broadcasting should clear a wing. The Smithsonian should put that in there.
Seton, you have the compilation from Belichick that we played?
Oh, please. I want to hear this.
Give us 30 seconds. By the way, McLevin and I got into a heated debate where I said that Tebow in New York, Tebow in Boston, that, the media jumps in. The difference is the Jets welcomed everybody in.
Oh, please. The Jets held for Tebow, they held a telephone press conference for him when they acquired him. And then 3 days later, with the owner, general manager, and coach at the owners' meeting in Florida, held a press conference for everybody else, again, where he walked out himself, Field of Dreams style, out of the cornfield. And please, and they would throw him in front of the Jets background.
I
know. That sort of press conference background after every practice. It was absurd. This coach is going to just. Nobody sucks the oxygen out of a media fire quite like Bill Belichick.
Here's Belichick.
This is virtuoso, Dan.
All right, here's Belichick yesterday.
Anything we do is what we feel is in the best interest of the team. Try to do what's best for the team. We're going to do what we think is best for our football team. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I think I've already said that. Answered the question twice. I think, we've already talked enough about him. We'll see how he does and just go from there.
Do you have any objection? Or are you going to
I think I've covered it. Anything else?
How much does a player, Bill, have to learn coming into this part of the season, June minicamp, to adapt to the system?
Great.
I don't know. I don't have any idea. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Thank you.
You left out my favorite one, which was, I believe, a question asked by Albert Breer saying, so Josh McDaniels drafted him. How much did he have to do with bringing him to the team? Long pause. I don't know. I don't know. It's perfect. And then there was, at one point, you did include this. The end of an answer for him was, I don't know, we'll see. And then the next answer, the 5 words was, we'll see, I don't know.
Well, he's changing it up.
Those were the back-to-back of the 10 words in a row. It was almost like a limerick.
He's worth making the roster just to hear Belichick have to talk about him.
Oh, please. It really was great, and I don't think it's going to be much ado about anything in terms of the media. I mean, we're not going to be able to set up camp there like we did with the Tebow Mania, that's for sure.
All right.
No way.
Before I let you go,
yes.
The commissioner finally commented on the Redskins' nickname here. I was surprised that he did have something to say about it. You know what? Anything happen? Any fallout do you see in the near future with that nickname? I
don't think so. I don't think people are going to vote with their feet in D.C. That's the only way. The thing that I'm sort of confused about is, wouldn't the Redskins, if they changed their name, make
more
an
money,
absolute killing new gear?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't because everyone would need to get the new stuff. I don't understand it. But then again, I'm not from that area and into that whole, the Redskins name and growing up with it. So I don't have any emotional attachment to that at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I could see it. But this is just Daniel Snyder. He doesn't want to be told what to do. It's not, look at all the money I could make. It's, I'm not going to be told what to do. I'd rather not make money than be told what to do.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher to me, to say the least.
Good to talk to you. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
And I mean that. Not as a threat.
Seriously, I took it to mean that you will actually talk to me.
I will reach out to you.
Yes, that's what I took it to mean, not like some sort of phrase to end the conversation that we're having right now. This is sort of like a Jewish goodbye right now, or a half-Jewish goodbye, since that's me, part of it.
Good yontif. Much nachas.
Very good.
All right.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Rich Eisen, NFL Network. You can check out the Rich Eisen podcast on NFL.com/Rich Eisen and on iTunes. Your phone call's coming up next. This is the Dan Patrick Show.